Good evening, welcome along to the third episode of the Point and Reunion podcast. This is the Irish Masters podcast, the third in the series. And before we get into this week's guest, we want to thank this week's sponsor, which is Connor and the gang at Brawn. Brawn is an eatery up in Derry itself. They have two places, one on the water side, one on the Derry side. And they do coffees, great food. The staff's unreal, like they're really friendly and all.
He sent us up a wee bag, wouldn't he?
He could. You think he would? Like he just says, but he says to me, "Who have you on the podcast this week?" And I was all Gleave and Col Hamilton and Jago. You can notice Jago's not here; he has to babysit. The joys of being a young father. Eh? But he says, "Oh, Colm's on it. I'll definitely sponsor it." So
there you go. I'll get free food and Brawn.
You'll get free food and Brawn the next time you're up. But thanks to Connor and the guys at Brawn for sponsoring the episode. Really appreciate it. So we'll just get on with introducing our guests. Beside me is Mr. Lush himself, Mr. Col Hamilton. And you know that old,
good to be here.
You know the old boy in the middle. That's Mr. Paul P. He's just back from Ibiza.
You can tell he's tan.
I think he was sitting in sun loungers the whole time.
That too, yep.
Speedos now on.
I was drinking whiskey, had a great face.
He was telling me a story about him in the bar. They were giving me shots of whiskey out during the day and everything, so he had been a cellman. And beside Paul, we've got Mr. Gleave Dobbin. So welcome, Gleave.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So,
excuse me.
As you know, Gleave, you've been on the podcast before, just the Zoom and stuff like that there.
That's right.
That was before the start of the last, the Point and Reunion 30.
Yes.
So we're good to have you on, buddy.
Thank you very much. Took a while to ask me.
So we're going to come to you first and all. So to get it out of the road, we'll talk about your experiences with the Point and first of all. So I remember, because I didn't start as a resident DJ to the Point until 93. It was the end of 92, 93. And you would have been coming on then too. Because I remember you playing on it and all then too. And then you would have been booking DJs for Paul. You were on with Cream and stuff, and Justin Roberts and them boys.
Yeah, I started. It's funny, I was thinking in the car on the way up, I thought it was like 94, 95, but it must have been before that.
No,
probably the end of 93, 94, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just started doing my own resolution parties and a few gigs in Portrush.
That's right.
Obviously, used to buy records off Paul in the shop in Derry, so we got asked down to the Point. And it was one of those, again, and back even in those days, it was like, oh my God, I'm DJing at the Point. And it was like, what do I do here? You're panicking before you go down. And the drive down, just telling the story there through back in those days, obviously, it was the border and the checkpoint and through the soldiers and stuff. So it was just like a proper adventure going down there. And it was, you better stay half sober going through the checkpoint in case you get pulled. But I started that, and probably end of 93, 94, went down, DJ, did a couple of warm-up sets. I think you probably went on, I went on after you, and then it would have been you and Colin Bass.
Yeah.
And then obviously, because I'd been booking a few guests, as you say, through the Cream guys, Paul Bleasdale and Matthew Roberts and guys like that, you'd asked me to book a few guests for the Point. So
was Bleasdale you brought over first too, wasn't it?
Bleasdale, I think, Paul Bleasdale.
Paul came over.
I thought he brought Matthew. Was Matthew Roberts not in the club
Matthew
before
Roberts as well,
Bleasdale?
He went on to be King Unique, obviously, but
that's
Matthew
right.
and Paul were, I think actually did I do New Atlantic, because they were from, I used to live in Southport, and that's where New Atlantic were from. Southport. I actually went to school, one of their big brothers. I can't remember. I know it definitely was there for them.
They definitely did it, but I can't remember.
That's funny.
Could have been Bally too, but you know what I mean.
I can't remember last time. It was definitely there when New Atlantic played.
They were doing the whole tour and Don Kelly's and everything, didn't they? And the whole thing. And then singing. But you have a funny story about Paul Bleasdale, do you?
We were just talking about the border. Back in those days, if you were watching this now, unless you were of an age to the point, you won't understand. The border between Derry and Donegal was literally bollards across the roads, and everybody had to stop. And you had to show ID. So we had Paul Bleasdale come over, never been to Ireland before. And driving down, Audie had to show his passport to get on the flight, but he left in the hotel. I said in the car, "You got your passport with me?" I said, "No, what do I need a passport for?" And I said, "You're going across the border." And he did, "What's that? What do you mean?" And I, "You're going from Northern Ireland. Anyway, do you not bring a passport?" "No." "Oh, mate, what are we going to do? You're going to have to put you in the boot of the car. You're not going to get through the pass. You're going to have to put you in the boot of the car." And he's like, "You're joking, aren't you?" We were like, "No, honestly." So we pulled over to the side of the road, got out and opened the boot. And as he was just about to climb in, one of my mates just started buckled laughing, and he caught on to us. He's like, "You rotten bastard!" But we literally had him talked into that you weren't getting across the border.
With a passport.
And he was literally up his cream bomber jacket on, climbing into the boot of the car. It's one of those, just like stuff like that now wouldn't happen.
Aye, but then when you think of going to the Point, then as we talked about before in the podcast, you had three bits, elements to go through before you even got the club.
And you
And
had
you know
customs
that
and
yourself.
excise.
Custom and
first.
excise.
That was first, wasn't it? And then you had the soldiers at the border, and then you had the guards.
The guards or the.
Imagine just thinking back, and imagine this, all the squaddies and that back then, knowing, you know, everyone's, and seeing some of the shapes going back in cars, just looking in and going, on you go.
There's some wee stories too about that. I don't know if we can tell. The squaddies actually taking stuff off people.
And crates of beer and stuff.
But then the gears were saying on the third episode of the first podcast that they'd have been swapping tips and stuff too, you know, with the soldiers and all the way down, like, because like they were.
Known that, I could have sold them a few.
You're right, got your seals up.
Fiver seal sign up.
But when when you got to the border, if it was the RUC, you knew you were getting stopped. But usually, if it was the soldiers or whatever, you got through all right. But it was the RUC that would fucking give you hassle, or the guards, especially. Like,
I remember getting pulled up under the wee search bay at the main checkpoint quite a few times, and there was a porta cabin inside there. It was like a big open empty
that's
space.
right,
and getting pulled on there a few times and getting searched. And then I remember the guards too. One time pulling me in Biss. And Lisa, I think, was probably driving us down and going through every single record. Looking
Keep there for ages. But it's mad. You're thinking back on that now. Imagine doing that. Like, if you had to do that now to go to a venue anywhere, you just wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it.
You just like, no, I'm not a chance, mate.
It's hard enough to get people out now, and never mind.
But back then, it was nearly part of the whole. We're through the checkpoint. We're into Donegal, and then you come into the point, and it was just a rough old, fire going in the corner, and everyone with his shirt off, sweat buckets, stood in front of the fire, which you could never get my head round. But it was just on the side.
That's because you weren't the same.
No, I wasn't the same wavelength.
Wavelength as the people was going.
But it was just of its time, wasn't it? It was just, it wouldn't work now. Something like that now wouldn't work. But it was just of its time. Exactly. But that's I mean, if you explain that, kids go to clubs now, and the last few years of Lush and all the Steve Angel and all these EDM DJs, and they'd come over and they demand, they don't even mention music or sound systems, demanding, have you got pyros and got CMTs and what's your display like? It's like, you're forgetting what it's all about.
It's all about Instagram, you see now too.
It's about a show, Instagram. That's when I came straight back. Maybe something coming out of the point, and you needed to change the clothes because the heat was that much. All the condensation was falling off the ceiling and drops, and it must have been like nobody ever cleaned up there because it was minging. And you were coming out, and if you were wearing a white, you were just all fucking black as mud. It seemed to be all of you. So you had to go outside, you had to change. Everybody was the same. They were all sweaty. Gears, the mascara was all running down their faces. Everybody was a mess. Hair was all over the place. I was sitting watching them coming out of Swaya when I was over on the beach there during the weekend. They were all coming out. They were perfect.
Imagine
eyelashes and everything were all fixed.
Some of the shapes we come out of clubs years ago, you get arrested for now. People would just be like, "Oh my God, did you really go out looking like that?"
Did you not
didn't go out like that, but I'm coming home like that.
But then when that started, it was all shell suits, fila, fucking, you know what I mean? That was, what did you call the puffer coats that you used to get too? Naff jackets, all that there type of stuff. But like we all were guilty of that there. But so you brung, getting back to the point, you brung some guest DJs then towards the last year and a half to the point. So you brung Justin Robertson, Paul Bleasdale, the Cream guys, and all. And then you had been, as you said before, you had been doing you were doing the room.
The room before us, that was before Resolution. Well, between Resolution, which was in Brandon Kelly's from the end of 94. You were the first person to bring Sasha? First person to bring Sasha and Digweed to Ireland together, and we did Carl Cox, brought Carl Cox over to play a house set, because previously he'd always played the happy hardcore stuff, and I just asked his agent, will you come back, want to do a gig in Kelly's? I said, no, I'm not interested, done it, been there, moving away from the music, moving away from, I said, no, it's not that music, it's a house night. So he was like, brilliant, amazing, loved, it was actually having Judge Jules, which sounds a bit strange now, but Judge Jules back then actually used to play really cool house music as well. So him and Jules played on the first Resolution night. So it was around that time that I was doing that the point was sort of not coming in its peak probably, but in its peak towards coming to an end.
Coming to an end where it was going one week and then shut down the next week, and then Frank was under threat, or the guards were shutting it, or there was
and you defected.
We're
going to get that on every podcast.
You did. I defected and went to Stein Multiple Intelligence for a wee while.
When did that point? You've probably done all this before, sorry, but it's
94.
When did it close?
I think it closed in
95.
95.
Was it going to go as long as that?
3 years on and off.
But then that last year was sort of off and on. Frank was closing it because of threats, and then It was just the whole.
You couldn't
It's
book
just
2
more-
weeks ahead of yourself,
exactly,
and you know
yeah,
they're
in case
trying
it's
to
shut
book
down.
things now.
I think actually do we not have someone booked, or I was booked, and you remember you ringing me.
But John,
Back-
please, no, we were doing it all
That's
day.
right.
That's
I
right,
cancel
aye.
it, aye.
It was like to go all day, John, please, we're up to Sarah, a few other heads and all
That's
that.
right.
And that had to be cancelled because that place was shut down then at that stage. I think
And by
it
the
opened
way,
up after that.
There was
again.
no mobile phones in those days. You used to get a
No.
phone call to the house, and if you weren't in, you missed a call.
Knocking us in the head.
Yeah, so
Paul.
and your man used to
Oh,
go,
no,
some boy from Derry's on to you, but some place to point in. You used to have to ring him back.
I remember when we were, because we all shared Glenbrook at that stage. I remember you sitting out in the kitchen. And you could see through the glass door with the table with the decks and all those, and you'd be out phoning fucking. You had a wee black book and you were out phoning fucking boys to see who you could get to play and stuff like that there, and it was just fucking. Then you would have record shops phone on there because it was a fucking. We all used to phone in the house, and you'd have people ringing fucking looking for record orders and stuff like that there, and then people looking for him. But
Amazing how we survived before
Isn't it?
the internet and mobile phones.
I don't know, hey.
But we
Just
did.
We had a better time too. Wonder where that was. No social media or nothing else.
No, we couldn't be
Gone
caught
around
doing
with
anything.
flyers.
So we couldn't.
Give me 5,000 AM flyers. Let's go now, boys, and get these out.
I used to be funny. I used to do that. I think I don't know if it fell out or not. Or something in my head tells me maybe it was Frank. I was the end of the point. I used to come out and I had a bag of resolution flyers. Or I just flyer all the cars in the car park and that. And the bouncer I got, the doorman didn't care, but I think it was Frank or somebody.
Probably
Come
Frank.
out and was like, what are you doing? You're stealing my crowd. I'm like, I'm not stealing your crowd. It's a different night. Get away! But you used back in those days, coming out of a club, everyone used to flyer.
Flyer
and I even
events,
remember maybe the wasn't Shine. Obviously, he was before they called the
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser and all that. Maybe
The
you'd
Underground
been down,
Boys.
the
Nice,
Underground Boys, and they'd been flying you outside the point. There'd been
The Underground
half a
Boys
dozen flyers
done
in
a
the
night
cars.
in the point. I
The
remember
first
didn't they?
Hellraiser was there.
First Hellraiser.
But back then, I used to come out and whoever was driving, there'd be your front windscreen of the car would be
Covered,
covered
aye.
with flyers and stuff. Which again, you don't get.
But then
nowadays.
again, because that was the only way that you could get people interested on your fucking gigs and the parties and stuff that you were running. Because
How'd you get the hype?
because you
what
depended
went
on a
on-
local paper to advertise
exactly,
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because away from
and
most
he was
of them.
really
That's it.
reading local papers to see where they were
'Cause,
going at the
like
weekend.
I mean, we would have went out on a Wednesday night, and even when we were doing rude and stuff, we would have went out on a Wednesday night and postered all around the town. Then you had boys fucking poster
cover
wars
all, yeah.
coming over the top. I remember it was so
And then the
horrified.
council started fining you for it, and that was the end of that. I remember having to go and sit in Limavady Court and get fined £1,000 for putting
posters
Lush
up.
posters around Limavady Council. You know, we had in the back of the road signs and stuff like that. And that was the first time. I remember the judge saying, "We're making this £1,000 fine, but if you're going to come up in front of me again, we'll take it a lot more seriously." And I'm like, "We're fucking putting posters up in the sign, you know. We're not
You're
shooting
littering
anyone,
cars.
like, you know." Well, exactly.
But sure,
then
now
it's all gone now.
sure, Jesus Christ, to be glad of fucking some decoration around Lamavati or Lama Vegas as they call it. So we'll go back to talking about your resolution in the room party, right? So you grew from that, and then how did you come about with Lush?
Grew from that. Was doing actually done the odd few gigs in the used to be the garage, Joe's garage, on a Thursday night. When I first started DJing, believe it or not, I was actually into like hip hop and soul, and used to do a night called Funky as Funk.
when you had hair.
When I had hair on Thursday night, I used to tuck it in my headphones. So we used to do like hip hop and soul and American, the original garage, like Strictly Rhythm, and the original sort of garage, which didn't really get played in the Kelly's Point back in those days, was more of a rave. So that's how I started out. Did that on Thursdays in Kelly's. It did quite well, and then we moved on from then to the resolution nights, which were on the bank holiday, like
Weekends?
bank holiday Mondays or weekends when Kelly's wasn't on. Sash and Digweed, for example, was on the.
I done the
You did the first one.
I
didn't
done
you?
the Tuesday, the Sasha
Nice,
Tuesday.
yeah.
And Digby didn't show.
That's right.
Remember?
Yeah, he was sick.
Because I blagged my way on that because Colin was looking for a mixer with a bass, mid, and treble at that.
You're the one.
I
only one have one.
like, you know what I mean? So I'm like, oh Jesus, iPhone.
So you did the gig and Digweed didn't turn up. Usually that started the 10-year
With
history of Digweed missing gigs.
Mark Auerbach.
Mark Auerbach stepped in,
yeah.
who had the
Yeah.
big hit with Bump, Russian at the time. And he's obviously a
brilliant.
partner in Ace.
I was at it.
That is.
Sure it was.
Well, we did that on Tuesday night. 'Cause it was only a night you could get, because obviously Hurley was in the Saturday, or Chris might have gone, but then actually it was Ray and that were in the Saturday, and then the Monday was what do you call the Scottish Tony Agnew? Harmony night.
Yeah.
So I said to them, "Can I take the Tuesday night?" And everyone's like, "You're mad! No one's going to go out on the Tuesday." I'm like, "No, we've got Sash and Digweed." And so then it was like, "Oh my god!" But it was, even thinking back, risking it now on a
that was
Tuesday
big
night,
fucking-
Easter Tuesday, Easter Monday, and Easter Sunday were the big ones. Tuesday was the sort of
Everybody getting headed back to go back to work and shit.
Put Sash and Digweed
I
on.
can remember you had the DJ box upstairs.
Yeah.
Aye, and
right?
and the
Okay, so the table was there, and the mains lead run right across over past the where the stairs come out at the top.
And plugged into the
And
wall.
thousands of people walked over that. Like,
But everybody stepped over the lead. Not one person.
Not tripped over it.
And you used to go,
watch that lead.
stepped over the lead. But I put the DJ box up there. I wanted it to look, and being me, always trying to do something different. I thought, I don't want to put them on the stage where harmony and rain, everyone's just being, so it'll just be the same. So I'll move the DJ booth upstairs, expecting maybe 700 or 800 or 900 people. Anyways, 7:30 at night, it was 2,000 people queued in Kelly's car park. It was the busiest night all weekend.
You weren't there that night, Paul, were you? That first day? Oh, you were. You must have been.
DJ, do you not DJ?
You DJ'd a couple of them revolutions.
You and do we not have Alistair Whitehead or someone in the garage? Is that
John
night or is that a different
one.
night?
I was in the garage with John Pleased and Alistair Whitehead.
Was that a different night?
And Robin.
I think it could have been the Tony DeVitt. There was a Tony DeVitt one.
The Boy George, that might have been.
I've done a couple of them anyway, but I wasn't there at that session.
But I remember putting Sasha upstairs and the place being rammed and him loving it, but going, "Why you stuck me up here for? Why am I not on the main stage?" And I was trying to explain, because that's where everyone else goes. And he's like, "Yeah, that's where we're. So why am I up here?"
But then that night too, that's where you had the VIP bit, because there was people all up and around there.
Stepping over the mains league.
Exactly. So I didn't expect that. In all honesty, I didn't expect to be that busy. I literally got shocked. I remember Charlie Maguire, who used to be barman, coming up to me at 10:30 going, "Get that crowd in quicker." And I'm like, I can't get them in quicker. Because back then it was like, it was 8 or 9 quid and everyone came. There was no credit cards on those or tickets, so it was just paying. So everyone gave you 20 quid and you had to go 12, 13, 14. It took about an hour to get everybody through and in the door. So
there was a 52-seater came from Lauren. We all come on. I remember everybody was buzzed up about it because it was such a Digweed.
Exactly. Yeah. Because I think it was that far away from Sasha had played at Castle Benningham. Wasn't that far? Maybe a year, even. And I think a lot of people got to hear Sasha because of that.
Did that gig actually go ahead? Someone tells me it was cancelled, or did it go ahead at Castle Benningham thing?
No, apparently it did go, because then there was rumours saying it was that the whole mix that came out wasn't Sasha. But
Sasha played in Lush a couple of years before. Someone had booked her and it wasn't Sasha, and I knew beforehand it wasn't Sasha. I remember saying
it was in Kelly's. It was an Italian Sasha.
And to be honest, they were all.
Wasn't it?
He turned out he's bald. He's like, I had more hair on him. And I was like, walking in the door, and I knew it was Sasha. And I said to Big Simpson, "See?" And he was like, "I don't care, there's 2,000 people in here." That, in those days, it was one of those things that.
It was Italian Sasha.
Winged it. I think it was Billy booked it, wasn't it? But anyway. So
I don't think it was. I think it was the Underground Boys.
Was that payback for something else?
It was. There's a hidden story behind that.
Stuff like that happened those days. So anyway, I did those resolutions like Sasha and Digweed, and we did John Please, and we did Boy George and Tony DeVee and Carl Cox and Judge Jules. I think that was probably from like middle and Easter 95. No, 94.
94
it would have been because Kawada had started
through to the end of 95, and
I
then
should have brought all them flyers with. I have them.
We should have. I was actually thinking the way up. I should have brought the flyers as well. But anyway, come the end of 95, Kelly's was getting a load of hassle, as you know, from the police and the council, and it turned into from what Chris had started, it had gone totally full circle, and it was full on shirts off and. The paramilitaries there, and it wasn't fun. It was just horrible. I actually stopped going on Saturday nights because I hated it. And
I didn't go near there, and we used to.
We were all buzzing too on Saturday nights.
And then other things, obviously other things. The Quarter was going, and other clubs and that started popping up because Kelly's dropped off a bit. There was other wee places opening up and taking the crowd. So the old Kelly, James Kelly, God rest him, just came to me and said, "I want to come. Can I have a meeting? Come in and see us on the Tuesday or whatever." And I was like, "Oh shit, what have we done?" Went down to see him on Tuesday. Like, right, we're finishing Kelly's on New Year's Eve 95. We want you to come in and promote a new club. We want to base it on your resolution. Nice, but we want it to be like Cream or Ministry Sound or
Super Club.
Was the word
back in those days. So to me, I was just like, brilliant, like, happy days, brilliant. Like, let's go. Where do we sign up? And I remember actually shouldn't talk about money, but I remember actually being that excited. I signed up and I started a really shit deal financially, and it was only after when that bank said the calf, she was like, "What do you have for? They just give you Saturday night in Kelly's." And you're getting that paid, and I was just like, I don't care. I just want to do it. I want to do it and build something. To be worried about it later. So that's how it all started, from the rave days of Kelly's going so badly wrong, and just so far away from what it originally started as.
Because then when you
start getting a bit glam again, then up with the clubs, so they came out of raves, they came out of fields and went back into clubs again.
Yeah. There's only so far you go with the whole shirts off, white gloves, and everybody. We're through that stage where everybody loved it, but then it got the music's getting harder and harder. And people were nearly going out just to get off it.
But then you could see the clientele that you wanted from doing them for doing the resolutions,
nights,
and you could have seen the clientele. You seen that way it was going. Super
people were
club
getting
ways.
dressed up, and that was also filtering through from the people seeing what was going on in England, with the so-called super clubs. That it was more of a dressed up thing than people turning up in DOE jackets.
And you were reading Mix Mag and we actually went over, didn't we? Went over to Cream's birthday the year before. Was it Kylie was playing?
I can't even mind now, Colin. My head's that far
We were
away. I
all
was
there,
over Cream
but
a couple of times anyway. I mind Robbie Williams been up in the DJ box.
That's right, absolutely. We were there. But you're reading Mix Mag and that in those days, and you were seeing Cream and Back to Basics and Minister of Sound, Renaissance, and you're looking at all these glammy
chuff parties and all that.
So I just thought there's a market for that, because even in Belfast at that stage it's Sugar Sweet, and maybe early Shine, just starting to Shine parties, but they were still quite heavily techno. So it was I just thought, right, there's a market for this, the Sasha Digweed, John Please, Jeremy Healy, the handbag housey type, that sort of style. And obviously there was from the sold out the first night of Lush in March, and then never looked back. Second week dropped a bit, and then from third to fourth week on, it just better every week.
I can remember at that stage you were going, because I went and played. I only played in Lush once. Right.
You played more than once, you don't know?
No, I didn't. Once.
Well, we dig there.
No. I warmed up for Seventeen, but at that stage, you were getting gigs all over England. And I remember me and you having a chat and you going to me like, I'm leaving Lush to go and play in these gigs. Some of these gigs around England, and they're not holding up to what I'm walking away from.
Exactly,
so that's where it showed you how important that whole Lush thing was.
That's the side. Sorry, you saying about they're only getting one gig. I used to, loads of DJs just say, well, you never booked me for Lush, why not book me? But back then, near the end of Lush, being honest with you, I'd fallen out of love with it, done it for 20 years, and you're there every week, and it was a chore. And I hated DJing, and I would book anyone to, do you want to do a warm-up set, do an hour. But back in those days, you wanted to do. I was down there at 8:30.
Yeah.
Ready
to play the whole night.
with the tunes on the decks at 9:15, ready for the doors open, and you had to drag me off at midnight to put the guests on, because back then it was just such a
buzz.
doors opened at 9:00. By 9:30 you had a full dance floor.
Because then you had the DJ box just the below Sugar's at that stage, wasn't it? When it first opened, was the middle of the cage one?
At the start.
Was that the cage one? I thought that was after it.
First couple of years, and we had to put a cloth in the grill because everyone kept standing there like a bloody monkey in a zoo, standing looking for you all night. But I literally remember one night putting a tune on, and you always had in your head, we'll start, we warm up and keep it cool, and a couple of tunes in, and I went down looking through the box, looking through the vinyl, and took 10 minutes, a couple of minutes looking, popped back up with tune, and it was like, fucking hell, there's 1,000 people just came in the door, and the space it took me to go down looking through the box, and it was right, and it used to be like that for years and years. If it was by 9:45, if it wasn't packed, you were going, right, what's wrong? What's wrong tonight? Why isn't it busy?
But then, with people travelling to Portrush, they made the effort to get down early and make a full night of it. Because,
our licensing laws in England, and Cream and Renaissance, that were on to 6 in the morning. We opened at 9, and back then you had to shut at 1:30. So you literally had 4.5 hours. So if you say we were coming to Portrush, you weren't turning up at 11 o'clock.
No, you were down there from fucking 8:30, 9.
You wanted, and the point was the same. I remember down the point at 7:30, 7. There's people queuing to get in. You wanted your money's worth then, didn't you? You wanted that whole experience.
And opened up the car boots and the stereos got going. They were all
car park race.
Or down underneath the bridge and everything else there.
So you started then bringing the likes of the Lush. You started bringing the likes of Fatboy Slim. You would have been bringing Tiesto. You'd have been bringing all the King Unique boys and all that there too, but then you'd be bringing in like superstar DJs then too, like Deep Dish and Sasha and the rest of them. So you built your club as
we're lucky at that time that you couldn't do it now. Now you have to build a club. Even when I'm doing the odd gig now, on the agent will still say, well, who's played there before? I'm like, it's me you're talking to. Yeah, it doesn't matter, you have to. Whereas back then,
do they still do that?
Nightmare now, so it's unbelievable. But back then, we just grew on the popularity. Obviously, because Sash and Digweed had done it, and then someone like, I don't know, Jeremy Healy or Just Jules would go way down and say, oh my God, I played in this club in Ireland called Lush in Portrush, and then it grew from that. So I used to have agents ringing me going, we want to come. Radio 1 actually rang me and said we want to bring the Essential Mix to Ireland. I didn't approach them, but I had sort of approached them in the past and they always turned it down. But I eventually remember getting a phone call. It was actually from Darren Hughes, that used to run Cream, because they were involved in the Essential Mix, going like, right, Col, we're hearing all about Lush. We want to do an Essential Mix, but you need to be open until 2 a.m. And I'm like, Darren, we can't do it, we finish 1:30. It's not going to happen then, Col. You need to be open to 2 a.m. So I'm like, right, leave it with me. So I remember having to go into James Kelly and the owner saying, we need to go and speak to the council and the police to get open to 2 a.m. And I know it sounds mad now, but back then that was like, oh my god.
But then that was
what are you asking? 2 o'clock. That's like the middle of the night.
What year was that when all that was kicking off?
the essential mixes was
97. The first essential mix was September 97. So we literally had to go to the local council and the police and say, this is the biggest thing that's ever going to happen. There's millions of people listening.
You probably wouldn't have got away with it unless it was BBC Radio 1.
Exactly, yeah, that's how it is. But it sounds so mad now. Can we stay open an extra half an hour? Please, till 2 a.m.
But that's because all the councils are away now and they don't have the mad licensing laws anymore compared to what we did have before, because you knew what it was like then. The mad licensing laws trying to get a fucking half an hour extension for the essential mix. But like Lush was nominated the best 24th best club and
DJ Mag.
The
first year of DJ Mag Awards when it was voted for the public, we were 24th in the top 100
of the clubs of the world. Like,
so it's just decent going, isn't it? You can't complain about that. And that's when it was voted by the public and not voted by if you take an advert out, you'll be number 24. Whereas it was actually voted by the public, which was a good thing.
So Gleave, when this was all going on, you have been doing the point and doing all your bits and pieces, and you were doing the Hellsman and Bangor, and you were
Circus,
Haggerty's, all that there.
And then Haggerty's would have been, and then kind of whenever it was at Circus, it was. I'm more sure. Now I've said this to you before, but the first night I ever played in the point was Sunday. It was a bank holiday Sunday.
I can't mind.
And I didn't even have my driving licence.
Somebody said to me, this wee 17-year-old, he's a DMC champion in Northern Ireland. Please, you call him, you want to get him up. Get a wee lesson. And he came up and done it and blew us away. We were like, what?
It was Gary Nelson, Robbie Nelson's younger brother I used to knock about with, and he drove me up in his black Mini. He had one of that wee black Mini. We went up over the Glenchain Pass, but I'm more than sure it was a Sunday. It was the first time.
Probably a bank holiday weekend in the south or something.
As well.
I used to Fridays and Sundays, didn't it?
We done Sundays. The Sundays fell off. But it was never Saturdays because you couldn't go up against Kelly's. So it had to be the Friday. So that was the best day to do it, because half a day exited up the road before us as well. So you didn't want to go in competition with that. So the thing that helped the point then was everybody else from all our regions, so you came down because it was a Friday night. Because if you had went against Kelly's on Saturday, I don't think it would have.
No, it wouldn't have been the same.
No, definitely
not.
It was definitely special. So Circus and the point, same sort of time for me. Like, when did the point start?
92 points started.
When I saw you, sorry for interrupting, I saw you in tracks in the DMC championships. But I think it was the year you won it.
That was 91.
You'd a red like an old Man United football shirt with a white collar and your bobble hat on. You pulled the bobble hat on doing the switching. I faded across, and I was never the most technical days. I remember watching going, fucking hell, he's good. Who's this kid? And I think that was the year you won it.
91.
Was that 91?
What age were you? 14? 16?
15? Something like that.
15.
Sneaking in the club there, disgraceful.
Well, I was tall enough, like I got away with it, like, you know. Circus, and then once Circus lost its all-night license, I then jumped ship and went to Haggerty's. Started Haggerty's,
And then the Killwater. Then when you're
Killwater had started. We started the Fridays. The Killwater was my mum and dad's. It was a hotel, me and Mark, my brother, we went to them and says, how many weddings have you in for next year? And he says, well, 15 or 16 weddings picked down. Well, if you scrub them, we'll fill the club every week. So we took this wedding function room, turned it into a nightclub, and we started the Fridays then, because I was still in Haggerty's on the Saturday, and we tried to do like a middle of the road disco on a Saturday. That didn't work, so Fridays were around. And then I left then Haggerty's and come up, and we started 100% House with Jacko, and had like Dumb Vertigo and Tessera.
It was great. It was great nights in Killwater too.
Up your Ronson, and the vet. We had the vet over the vet. Oakenfold, yeah.
So amazing nights.
Oakenfold wouldn't stay in the warbed. Remember, he wanted to stay somewhere else.
He wanted to move. He's still a twat, And we did Up Your Onsen night with Brandon Block.
Yeah.
First night with Brandon come over, and I remember it's the first time I've seen a mobile phone. You heard this like ring ring, like it just sounded like a house phone, and this big brick comes up below the table, and the aerial gets filled up
like a one in bread.
Hello, yes mate. And we were all going, what the fuck's that? It was like an army, something you'd wind up out of the army. This big massive phone. And he was over. That was at the time he was full on, and he was.
It was out of control.
Half of it was funny, but the other half was just, oh my god, fucking stop.
Nightmare.
I must have been in Scotland actually one time and trying to avoid him all the time.
just full of pride. Brandon's
That was the time
lovely,
you two
lovely
were
fella,
over in
but-
Scotland together,
Aye,
wasn't it?
the
Doing something? Was it Colours or
Colours or
something?
whatever it was.
Down there, just that's opening again.
Aye, apparently so. Yeah,
Archers
yeah.
is coming back at it. Any chance of the Lush coming back at it?
You never know. You never know. I don't know. I think apparently they're in about whether it's going to happen or not. I think as soon as it was announced,
Did
they
they
took a
jump
bit of
on it,
grief
yeah?
from the council and the police and that
Joe has it straight away.
So apparently so. So
I love the Arches. Love playing in the Arches. It was the closest thing you get to playing at a football match.
Aye.
So it was.
proper
It was
atmosphere
just
over there,
brilliant.
wasn't it?
I used to be inside out an awful lot, so I did, and it was just bonkers.
But Scottish is the same as the Northern Irish.
It's
Irish
a-
is
They're
it's
just the
just
same raw
just that
energy.
full on.
Yeah.
I remember
Team
actually
up for a party.
a couple of times DJs came to Lush. I remember it's the first thing. It was actually when Tiesto played the first time. His tour manager was like, well, they're all shouting. What do they not like him? And I'm like, no, they love him. Why are they all shouting? And he was like going to me, this is a bit scary, Col. And I'm like, mate, they're shouting like, oi, fucking oi, or whatever it is.
Aye.
Hey, man, I'm going, why are they all shouting?
Thought I was going to get lunch
They
when I
just,
come
weren't, they
out.
just weren't used to it. And it's like a proper, and once you got into it, it was like a like proper
Like
tribal.
even all English DJs say the Irish crowd's always up for it. And,
Aye.
you know what I mean? The
Always
same
up.
as the Scottish too. Like
And that could boil down to the licensing laws
Yeah.
being only having
Aye.
that short window of
Exactly, Dave.
4 or 5 hours
Yeah.
that the people over here want to go out and just go bunkers to.
Aye, aye.
You know, because like some of the clubs in England, as Colin says, they open at 10 and finish at 6 in the morning.
6 in
So
the
it's all
morning.
stretched
out,
out.
aye.
You know?
I know what you mean. So we'll get back to Killwater. So you and your Mark ran Killwater.
Yes.
And Jacko was a resident.
Jacko was a resident on Saturday.
We used to
aye.
go up on odd Saturday if there was nothing happening. You know,
Yeah.
so but it was a great wee club like
And
too.
we
so it was.
Sticky, Stephen Reid, he
Aye,
was a
Sticky.
resident on a Friday.
Aye.
Cracking DJ.
Cracking DJ,
yeah.
that's right.
And it was bonkers. We done everything from like Dream Frequency to freaking tricks to freaking Mark Oberon.
Aye, if it works.
If it worked.
You've never had Mark? No, Mark O'Brien would have been all the X-ray, the intelligence sort of
They-
stuff.
I did tracks and all that.
certified.
so-
Mine had done the point a couple of times, but then people would say, "Oh Jesus, look your man, everything moving." But little did they know it's them. them
His
Sticks.
wife
the
behind
move,
him.
or his wife
Yeah,
behind him,
yeah.
I'd moving everything. And everybody else sitting on the floor going, "Oh, it's amazing."
How long
Fucking
did
sure.
how long did Killwater run for there? Was it 3 years? Was it?
Um,
2 or 2.5? No.
About 3 years now. Well, 93 it kind of started. 94 it kicked in, and then finished up about 96. Unfortunately, aye. And then that's where, whenever it kind of went wrong, went left turn, then Eddie Ray and Tyser and all come in and done it, and I made a beeline for Ibiza. I just got on a flight, went to Ibiza and done a season in
over
Ibiza
there,
somewhere
yeah.
in 96.
Aye.
So it was.
And you weren't, but you did you? I know Mark and them's done the network and stuff. Were you resident DJ in the network?
No, I just
guessed it?
guessed.
Aye.
Aye, for the network, aye.
Aye.
But it
And
was a cracker.
Milk was the same. Were you resident there?
No,
or just guessed too?
just guessed it in and out. But the network was brilliant for me because I was able to go and play wherever around the country, and then on the way home, just,
Aye,
you know,
just
right,
coming to the
drop in.
network.
And,
Network is some club too. Like, so
it
it
was
was.
nuts.
And Space Royal as well. Remember Space?
Space,
It was
aye.
the same as Network. They didn't have a license, obviously. They didn't have any drinks license. So, but they had a
was-
couple of really good nights in there while
Yeah.
it lasted.
Yeah.
We used the same thing.
Sound
It's-
system was
It's
thumping.
really good. It's the only
and
place,
all.
because I was resident in Lush, I couldn't really play anywhere else in Northern Ireland on Saturday, but because Space ran to 6 in the morning, we finished at 1:30 or 2.
You could
I
go
could
up and
nip
just
up the
ball
road the
down.
odd time and do a set.
That was
do a set
Darryl
in
and them
Space.
and
Aye, Darryl and the
Staffy.
Staffy crowd, yeah. That was a great venue as
Big
well.
Margaret.
I wonder if it's still there, actually. It's still, or is it a restaurant now? Is it?
No,
still
it's a restaurant. I think is there a made in Belfast right now? And there's
Aye.
a coffee
Inside
shops
of it,
and all that. Like.
I think so. Anyway,
But the sound system in it was.
was unreal.
But if you're talking about, it's just to think the amount of clubs that were back in the day in Northern Ireland, there's and all like
crazy.
maybe not world class, but top top
well,
class venues.
you know, if you look at it, you had the Met and Armagh running constantly with thousands. You had the coach, but
Yeah,
rammed
yeah,
every
yeah,
week.
that's right,
you
exactly.
know, you had loads of clubs in Belfast constantly.
all packed every week.
But what happened? What you know? What,
It's
all
all
the
just
commercial
gone,
that
isn't
goes in between all that as well.
As
different
well?
places.
Yeah.
And now you've none anywhere.
No,
hardly.
exactly. It's strange, and if
the
it's,
thing-
it's
but then back then you didn't have your Emerge festival.
no,
Yes,
exactly,
yeah.
yeah.
And, you know,
and Planet Love was all you had once a year, wasn't it?
That's it.
And even then, it was a smaller.
Yeah.
I used to
These are
back then.
These are doing both are doing Planet Love this
Tomorrow, yeah,
Tomorrow?
Or no, Saturday.
Saturday,
Saturday.
Yeah.
These are doing
So
the
we're actually on
VIP
before
tent.
they were run together. Well, it's actually Jacko. Is it Jacko, me, you, and Milky or
I
something.
go play a lot of techno before you come on.
That's alright. I'm just gonna play big cheesers. It's hard to know at Planet Love, isn't it? It's hard to know what to play because it is predominantly party.
Yeah,
There's
and I
no point
suppose-
trying to be cool at Planet Love.
But then do people pay different money for the VIP tickets that the place you're playing, rather than is it just the one price for?
No,
it's more
I think
expensive.
it's more expensive for the VIP because you get, I don't know,
Right, with separate
VIP
bar and
toilets.
toilets.
you
I
know
think
what I mean?
you get the fucking-
bars better stocked and there's a wee chill out area and cleaner toilets.
But it's the
toilets.
25th year of it, so I reckon play some new stuff, play some old stuff, play some re-edits and rattle it out.
See how
That's it. Aye. Because especially when you have that lineup on before you, like your computer and fucking all the rest of the guys, no,
Yeah.
no Jacko and
Jack was on quite early. Milky's on, Neil McLean's on.
Neil McLean's on.
Yeah.
Is Maddie Reading Demon's on?
No, they're
in the
the
other
Met.
states.
They're
the Met
It's actually a
one.
good lineup this year, to be fair. It's obviously it's 25 years. It's
Yeah.
a celebration of the whole DJs that would have played years ago that probably haven't played for a while. So I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Aye.
Fingers crossed it stays dry. That's it. It's a thing with Northern Ireland is
Where is that in Boucher Road too?
Up
Boucher.
Boucher.
Very
You're all
good.
down
So-
to the weather, aren't you?
I would say we'll have a tent over us anyway. We'll be alright.
Well, by the time this podcast go out, it'll have been passed anyway. So, but I'm sure it'll be a great time. And you have a couple of things coming up. now
We
too.
have a Lush Classical then the week after. Or no, it's actually the week after the point. 7th of October, Saturday, 7th of October. That's obviously at the SSE Arena, which is selling really well again. So touch wood, it'll be another sellout or thereabouts.
Who's in the lineup this time?
Gabriel and Dresden,
Right,
the
very
classic set. John Caccini, myself, Seb Fontaine. Then obviously the Ulster Orchestra doing all the classicals, and it's Dave Seaman and Steve Anderson, the Brothers in Rhythm, produced the show, put all the music scores together. Me and Dave picked the tracks that we're going to do, and then Steve and Dave and a guy called Cliff Masterson, write them all out and turn them from a 4/4 club track into something an orchestra can play.
orchestra,
It's
yeah.
amazing actually watching the process of it. It's unreal how it's actually done.
Serious?
But it just started off as something. It was Lush's 20th birthday and I wanted to do something different. And actually, to be fair, I'd watched Pete Tong's
Orchestra?
classical orchestra and I thought, fuck, I wonder could I do that over here in our own version. So rang the Ulster Orchestra expecting them to go not interested, but they were straight away going, yeah, we've just seen that. Oh my God, yeah, can we do it? And rang Dave Seaman, he was like, yeah, let's have a bash at it. So it just came from, again, one of those mad ideas where it's like, I'm remembering Peter Wilson, Owens Kelly saying, I want to rent the SSE Arena and do Lush Classical or Norwich, and him going, are you losing the money or am I losing the money? Who's paying for this? And I was like, trust me, it'll work. So luckily enough, he was like, right, let's go for it. And it sold out the first year, half an arena only, because we weren't too sure how it would work. And then we went back second year and sold the whole arena out. So it's just one of those things that Touchwood is taken off, and every year seems to be. I know people that literally don't really go out clubbing anymore. But
Aye, that's what we were talking about coming
Go
up
to
like
Lush Classical every year because it's their fix of we can still pretend we're clubbing.
We're clubbers, but we're not really.
We're not out to 3
More like a
o'clock in the morning.
concert now,
Aye,
isn't it? Like
Because I've only ever been to the first one, and that was in 2016.
16, yeah.
Aye. And it was fucking really good, but it's just getting up. There's that many things on if you're working too.
Well, we did it in Derry the year we did.
Aye, no, I was at that
Ebrington
too.
Square. It's
Aye.
sold out
Aye.
Ebrington as well, to be fair. But it's just taking on that wee life of its own that people, as I say, people.
But
that
they
serve
have
one
it
night a year
still
out.
going 9 years on a trot.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? That's good
And we also do
accomplishment too.
Botanic now out in the outdoor
Aye,
in
the
the
summer
summer.
one.
So it's getting out of stage which probably a few people are saying, oh, you need to change it up a bit, but. Every time we talk about changing it, you get people saying, "Well, I hope you don't
change it.
take it song out, and don't take Man in the Red Face out." So it's
Aye.
but it's someone said it's if you change it, then it's not a classic. You know, people want to hear.
They want
They want to
classic.
hear-
But you would
It's
probably
in
have
the
to
title.
put one or two on, would you? Every
It's
different
hard.
time.
But the ones there's 22 tunes to show, and as far as we're concerned, there are 22 of the biggest Lush
Club.
classics. So if you take 10 out, you replace them with 10 B-list tracks that weren't classics. So then you're diluting it a little bit.
It's not as good as
You know,
it
But
then
there must be
people are gonna
times
go,
that you sit and think and go, Jesus, that would be good.
There's quite a lot of tracks that we think that would be amazing, but it doesn't. They
Doesn't
don't
work that way.
necessarily work with an orchestra because some of the stuff there's no. It
I
needs
suppose
to.
there's loads of trial and error with it,
Aye,
right?
yeah.
All the big musicals don't change their scores every year.
No, exactly. Well, so, yeah, it's like someone said, if you go and watch.
Lush the music.
I know.
But if you go and watch, if you go and watch Oasis, or not Oasis, but Black Eyed Peas or any big band in the world, they play them. You go and see the Rolling Stones, you want to hear them do the big hits. don't they?
aye.
If you went to see the Rolling Stones, they played a load of B-sides, you'd be going, what's going on here? So,
It's the
because
same
it's
as
only
back
once a
doing
year.
reunions too. That's what you need
exactly.
to hear. They want to hear all the big ones.
Because you said before in the podcast, the time they done the point on festival, mind the one you finished off in Edmonton.
Oh, I loved that.
It was some.
It was brilliant.
It was brilliant, especially when you were on. Like that was fucking.
It
Was
was-
Orbital on before you or something? And he had killed the crowd a wee bit.
Aye.
He was
Played
playing
too,
off.
Joe.
I didn't realise he played with no shoes on. 'Cause he had no shoes on. Remember?
Someone
I made him at
Played
the
off-
after
played
party
off-
too.
He was playing off Ableton, but he wasn't really, because it was billed as the point. People weren't really getting. He was playing good music,
Aye, aye.
right? It was really good
Just
music, but
expected
it
it.
wasn't
Aye.
what people were expecting at that stage.
Aye.
So it was wide open. Like whenever Angel Love dropped, the whole
The whole
place
place
was-
went fucking.
Can I
it
mind
was
you
out.
on at the start, Mr. C threw a wobbler.
He threw a wobbler at the after party
Fuck
too.
this Gleave boy, I'm it's not even dark when I'm on. And I was like,
He's still going on about it in the after party, mine over in Sugar.
I have a story about him.
Gleave
like-
on the
Mr. C?
Aye, because I was playing at the Ulster Hall for Underground, and he was on.
That's right.
Right? And then he came with us to Circus, and he was on the microphone whenever I was DJing Circus, so he's got...
Hey, was that the night?
I forgot about it.
Was that the night he done Move Any Mountain and over the top of thing?
We took him to Circus, like, and I was DJing at Circus, and he was MCing
Yes.
over the top of me. Through. So...
Any of those nights,
That was it.
like Point in Reunion or Planet Love VIP or whatever. I've done it a couple. I always thought it was cool years ago because you're warming up Sash and Digweed and,
yeah.
and I've used to go to clubs back in the day and think, right, I'm going to play what I want to play, and 5 tunes in you're just going, no, they're not interested.
They're not interested.
So if you're doing the Point in Reunion, just play Point in tunes. Obviously, you're not trying to come in and go, I'm going to be a bit cool and wait to see that. The Lush Classical, they want to hear Lush Classics.
yeah.
Just give them Planet Love and Saturday, just give them what they want to hear. There's no point, if you obviously put your own spin on it and your own interpretation on it. There's no, DJs come in and try and be really cool. And
But there's
Not that type of thing.
no, it's not that
There's
type of thing.
like I've been going through loads of vinyl lately, and there's loads of things that I don't have on digital on the USBs or anything that I've been finding that I'm going to whack on the
on
USB,
stuff,
and just to change it up, because there's
That's
stuff
always
there
seemed to be
that we've played that just isn't obvious, but whenever they hear it, they
you
go,
remember
wow,
it.
Jesus!
That's
I
another
remember that's on tape, whatever.
That's
You know
another
what I mean?
problem, obviously, that if every DJ just plays all the same tune, you can run into that. Sometimes if you're on before me and Jack was on before you and Milk is on, then you can be stood there going, oh, hang on a minute, and just half my set's gone. So
You're just lucky
they're
there's
always
one
always
DJ that's not on before any. Mine it just to play all the big tunes before anybody. You know who I'm on about?
Hey,
You know.
hey,
I'm not.
come on!
Hey, you can't tease out now.
You know it because you used to always fucking say, "Geez, that money on. He's playing fucking Transformer 2 and blah 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 and all that there," and everybody would have said it.
Who, Paul P?
Aye, Paul. That's Paul.
I would never have played all the big tunes at the start.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, just follow that. Mic
It
drop.
wasn't you. I'll tell you after.
All right.
We'll let you know.
Sorry,
We'll let you know.
We'll
You
put
can't
it in
We'll let you know the point
captions.
in. We'll let you know what the reunion who it is.
We need a subtitle coming across the board.
It's how.
Who was it, Columbus?
No. Not that we never played at our reunions, but this is other things that we used to play at.
All right.
Right. Do you know who I'm on about now?
Nah.
No, well, forget about it then.
Change the subject, Charlie.
No, I know.
If you're not going to give
So
it
anyway, we're getting back now to Gleave. You're busy with your Jonas Blake stuff,
Aye, yes.
and you've just released a new track there.
Yeah, I've a new track out on 8 House Records, and I've a new remix done that's out on Roller Blaster as well. Like, so it's going good.
Very good. Do you think you would have sent it up to put in the show?
Aye.
Like that, Mike.
That'd be a good idea. I know it's bubbling away. I just took a speed wobble, kind of midlife crisis, and went, well, the Gleave thing isn't really gonna get to the dizzy heights that I would like.
But
it
sure,
to.
you're one of these as busy as you ever been too. You know what I mean?
I'm busy, like, but I just thought I would just start a new project and start making like houseier, more underground stuff.
Keeps you interesting as well, doesn't it? Keeps you
Yeah, it
interested
does.
and keeps giving you
Totally,
something
totally,
something to look forward
yeah.
to.
So and because it's a whole new generation. You
have to-
exactly,
you know,
yeah.
I've been DJing and I finished and some guys shouting Jonas at me and I'm like, you know, is he talking to me? You know, so it's cool that way, like.
Because I seen your press photo too, and you had a big
big
hoodie. It was like something out of the fucking Jedi's or something out of Star Wars.
The
And I said, I can imagine Gleave walking through the fucking Thompsons with a fucking big, like a Jedi robe on it.
Listen, it's a whole new generation. Now I'm putting all my mates' Sons of Doors on the guest list.
Aye.
You know what I mean? So it's a whole new generation. So,
aye.
you know, I just thought I would change the name to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
You know what I
The
mean?
thing is, well, now there's so many. I was going through promos yesterday for Saturday Planet Love, and remember you and me were talking the other day, so we just play housing, we'll drop the old classic.
Yeah.
See the promo list now, there's so many brand new edits of old
tracks.
That would have been classics. But if you're 19 now, you've never heard of them before. So to them, it's a new lease of life and a new spin on an old
thing.
But they don't know it's an old tune. They still think it's a new tune.
They think it's a new tune. But even if you listen to like Radio 1 dance shows for the weekend, every other track's an old track redone.
It's all just old tracks redone.
Just regurgitate it. You know.
When the young fellas in the care of me too, he'd be listening to SoundCloud and he said, what do you hear this tune here? And then it's an old track. You know what I mean? But it's just fucking sped up or fucking
that's
different.
If you were like that. That was out in 1989.
And then you play him the original and he's that's fucking shite. You know what I mean? But that's the fucking original, the tune. It's just sped up a wee bit. No, it's fucking shite. I wouldn't listen to that.
And the SoundCloud edit's just going to kick drum over it.
But then he was showing me too, like there's that many people, up, especially around Belfast, that's on SoundCloud making their own edits, young boys and stuff, and they're just taking stuff off and all.
Constantly, because in all my DJ skills, because I go into all the skills, so that like. We're in September now, so this is playlist time. So they give me all the playlists, and it's all SoundCloud. I want this off SoundCloud, I want that, but it's loads of old stuff. You know, and then you get different students then who have grew up listening to their man stuff, playing all these tapes and CDs, and they're brainwashed by it.
But like even to see old, I'm not saying old people, but see your generation now, because we went to Layfield.
How good was that?
Wasn't that fucking amazing? And the amount of people that was our age and fucking...
That was probably one of the best gigs I've been at in years. I mean, it was just the crowd at it, the sound system, just everybody was
Mandela.
It was outstanding. It was brilliant.
And then
I'm taking a wee buzz thinking about it.
But then I was staying with Eamon, and then we all went back to his, and usually by Eamon's house, and back in the day, you're up to 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning. We were all in our bed at 2 o'clock.
It's old age, and the hangover the next day was still just as bad.
Just as bad, But fucking going to your bed at 2 o'clock.
That was one of the best gigs I've been on in years.
It was really, really good. So it was.
Yeah.
That boy, the DJ was on before them too, was really, really good.
Yeah, he was good. So don't know who he was.
Is that their tour DJ, is it?
Huh?
Is that their tour DJ?
No, it was a guy from here. It was a guy from here.
He was really, really good too, like. But then you would see it too with your Lush classicals, but because people want to get outside, especially when the weather's good in the summer. Yeah. Like you can, it's a good atmosphere. I've never been to the one in Botanic, but
I was at the last one. It was, and the weather was
the last 2 years. It's been amazing. Literally, like this year it was June. That week when it was like 25 degrees every day, it was actually nearly too warm because the row of like the cellos and violins. I didn't realise this, but the guy was like, "That cello's for 150 grand." It's just violins worth 85. It's a Stradivarius Mark II turbo or whatever. And like, if it gets any sunnier, she's going to walk off, and I'm like, fuck off. It's like 85 grand's worth of violin.
It'll work.
I can't turn the sun down. But it was only on the day you're going, how can it be too warm? They're all saying if the wood starts the wood will start warping. Yeah. They have to walk off stage. I'm like, fucking hell, how does that work? Well, we hit lucky. The weather on both years has been amazing. So next year hopefully we get 3 in a row.
That's what we were just saying too. Me and Paul might go next year, but then you might give us a wee warm up spot.
Re-rub
DJs playing edits.
We can sort it out. All right.
It's on camera now.
What about you, Gleave?
I did the after party.
That's right. You did do the after party as well.
That was awesome.
I was supposed to play with you, and then I was so busy I didn't really chat. I think you played for 4 hours.
I played the whole night.
You're actually rock smashed.
Happy as a pig of shit.
Tell us this before we wrap up this podcast. And you have an after party for the Lush Classical.
Yeah, we do. And
where's that?
It's in Common Market in Belfast, which is it's actually a warehouse venue, which operates as a food hall during the day, but in the evening time they strip out all the tables and do turn it into a venue. It's actually a really cool venue.
It's a cracking venue.
It's literally 6-minute walk from the SSE.
How many does that hold?
It holds about 1,000.
Jeez.
So it's on sale as well. It's selling well. So touch wood, that'll be a good.
It's right beside Lush.
I know where it is. I've seen it. I took students up to the St George Market a couple of weeks ago, and I seen where we were just driving around Belfast.
Our classical finishes at midnight, so it's one of those ones. A lot of people don't. To be fair, a lot of people just want a midnight. That's them done. At midnight, if you're still looking for a couple of hours.
The first Lush Classical we went to, I don't know if it was you, but Jacko and Eamon and all them guys, and we're doing the final years, and it was I can't remember where it was. It was down by the Albert Clock, some club down around there, I can't remember.
Right.
And it was a fucking great night, hey. So it was a real small club, and JK was doing the door, and then he was DJing, and he was doing the door, and all the rest of the DJs as well. I'm not doing the fucking door, Jay can do it, like. You know what I mean?
And that was upstairs above, what do they call the wee Not White's Tavern, the wee pub in the corner. I can't remember what it's called. It's down obviously where TK Maxx used to be. I can't remember it's gone. I mean, it's a good
Do you know,
little
Shaw? Where they're on about?
It's changed name. It's changed name since then. It's like a trendy bar now. It's like an old boy, one of the trendy old boys bars. No, it's right on. Right. I can't remember what it's called now, but
Because Tammy and them boys are still doing Ulster Street. Like, there's another great DJ never.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Timmy did Lush a couple of times for me in the
that's
early
right,
days. Watched Harry Romero warmed up for a couple of times and
Yeah.
did a few. But it's good to see us that the DJs that are still playing. I don't DJ as much anymore because I say I've sort of fell out in love with it, but I enjoy DJing every couple of months. I really enjoy it, but it's having to be out every week now.
But
But
then-
again, 18-year-olds still want to see old boys like us DJing. Say that you're cracking on. You're doing all right.
I just keep
You're right.
I keep the DJ box as dark as possible. Turn the sleep machine on.
Put your hoodie on. Jonas Blake hoodie. But fair play if you're still doing it. Fair play to you, mate.
I know, I still love it. So
I think it was once I started to say I was setting the CDJs up this morning and yesterday. Just sort of practice or Planet Love tunes out. As soon as you start and put your first mix in, you're back
back on it,
and then you enjoy it. And then after about an hour and a half, I'm like, I'm bored of this now.
But
And
it's
stop
the
it.
same
I'm back
too,
again tomorrow though, and I'll be all right again tomorrow.
See, doing that radio show that we do and stuff like that there, it keeps your hand, it keeps you looking at tunes all the time and stuff, and keeps you interested rather than just going fuck off a gig and I don't know what I'm going to play like.
Well, we've all gone full circle, haven't we? It started out as our hobbies, and back in the day, you had no money going to the point, and as a club, you just do it for love. And I did my first gigs at Kelly's for free just to get my foot in the door in Kelly's, and then all of a sudden it turned into business, and then it's sort of come back round now to things like the point now are just for labour of love nearly, aren't they? You do it for the love of it and the crack of it.
Bit of crack again.
But isn't it fantastic that people are still interested in it after all this time? Like, could you honestly say that there's a night that runs now that people in 30 years' time will be
go
talking
talking
about
about that.
for a reunion? You know,
I'm hoping
it's-
lots
think
of
about
still
it.
be going.
I'm sure when you think, well, Lush would be 30 years now in a couple of, Lush would be 30 years now in a couple of years' time too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the 28th would have been 28th birthday this year, which is mad, isn't it? But even if you use 30 years at the point, it's like if you said to me long goes the point, you'd be like,
32 now.
15 years ago.
Quarter's 30 years this year.
It's mad, isn't it? But as you say, there's nothing now that starts now, or all these.
No, well, that's what I'm saying.
I'm not being rude. All these young DJs that are having the big hits now, they're not going to be here in 30 years because they'll come and go.
Yeah.
The many DJs we've seen come and go. Even through the last year's Lush, all these EDM DJs are huge, and then 3 years later they're gone. They all, to be fair, they all made millions, and they're all living in LA. But just that you get so short time frame now.
Yeah.
Whereas with like the like Sassy and people like that are still there and still the originators are all still there. So which is amazing to see.
But it's just a pity there wasn't more clubs about. But then I don't think young people, they don't. You would know better because and you would know from doing Thompson's getting young people on the clubs now because like they don't really want to. They'd rather sit in a bar with a fucking phone
Well,
and take their
half them are leaving at 12 anyway.
You'll get them all right, but there's so much more to do now. You've like obviously Emerge Festival, which is like 40,000-50,000, amazing, doing really well with Carl, everyone you want to see. And you jump on a flight and go to Amsterdam for 100 quid.
That's true.
And go to.
I know.
The world's got a lot smaller, hasn't it?
Big time.
Whereas back in our day, you went to Kelly's or the Coach, or
That was
it.
I know you
went
can
on your
say
summer holiday to Ibiza or Tenerife or whatever.
Yeah.
But like you're talking about Merge here, that was the bank holiday. I was on in Thompson's on that Sunday, and it was outstanding. Like it was just.
They'll come around there afterwards.
It
Covered in mud.
and it went right through to the death. So that was good to see. Like,
but stuff like that, and the same with our Lush. If you go to a festival or if you come to our Lush Glasgow, it's a 250 quid night out, minimum, and if you want a hotel and the missus wants a new dress and you're drinking, it's not
taxis.
Whereas years ago you went to Lush for £20, come home with £3, if you know what I mean. Nowadays £20 wouldn't get you.
Wouldn't even get you a fucking taxi, did it?
Back in the days, and we could have been paying the DJ like a couple of hundred
Exactly,
quid.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'd have brought guests over, some guys over from England, and the most you were paying them was like £400 or £500.
that was it. And their
And now
flight.
it's
You're putting a knot in the end of it.
Easy.
Now it's you
and now
lose
you
it.
have to transfer that on, so it's got a massive commercial business now.
And like they all had riders and all that there stuff that you have to look after them too. We had fucking like a fucking case of harp or whatever in the point under fucking a warm harp.
But it's you can literally lose your house now overnight. You're putting on those big events. It's a multi-million £1 business. Even over here, you 100 grand minimum wouldn't look at an average size gig. So there's not that many people who are going to go.
No,
let's do a gig or let's do a 3,000 capacity festival and it's going to cost us 150 grand. Now that's sure if we lose it, we lose it. But many people have got 150 grand to lose. It's just so the margins now.
It's just left a gap now where hopefully the underground starts to come through again. You know, at the bottom.
But I think it is like you're getting loads of like pop-up parties in
Yeah.
random places around Belfast.
A lot of
know.
smaller things I'm enjoying. I did a gig with Stevie Simpson and Jim a couple of weeks ago as we popped a Sunday all day thing from like
The disco balls
around
thing.
disco balls, and there's literally like 120 people there, and it was packed, and it was brilliant. Absolutely
loved
loved
it. I
it.
seen the
'Cause
videos
there's
of it,
no
loved
pressure
it.
to fill a dance floor, or no pressure to play big tunes. You just played what we wanted.
It's
It
a-
was
and it's a
brilliant.
nice wee place.
It was brilliant.
Well,
And it was a really
weird.
nice crowd. Really
Ray's
good vibe.
doing a thing in the Belfast bars, and we're thinking about doing a night in it because it only holds 100, and you can just do a wee intimate
exactly,
thing, like, you know what I mean? It's just, you know, a wee party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way to go now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
Because at least there's not as much promotion in that as what there would be.
Just getting good venues.
Crack
everyone
and
to
try and
let
get
you-
people out there.
well,
too.
to let
Keep
you
the
use it.
music good.
That's it, so Gleave, what have you coming up?
Just flat out. Well, I'm away to
Ibiza?
Ibiza. Yes. Well, Jonas Blake's away to Ibiza.
Where's the...
Well, won't be wearing his hoodie and that, but like,
It's a
That week before the
lightsaber.
point? Are you back literally a couple of days before the point?
I know, yeah. I'm home a couple of days to sort my tunes out for the point. So playing on Ibiza, hopefully at High in the wild corner
Very good,
in the
yeah.
disco toilet.
In the toilet.
In the disco
Yeah,
toilet?
the last time I done it was before lockdown there. Yeah, so
Jeez.
yeah, it's something else. And then,
I've seen wee OJ Wilson and I was playing on the toilets, and
Yes.
Chloe the weekend was playing on them a couple of weeks ago, and I seen the videos and stuff.
I
That looked classy.
sold wee Ollie's decks.
Did you?
I
Aye.
sold and done a couple of lessons for him.
Because he's
So,
Timmy Jig's son. What do you call it?
Aileen.
Aileen's
sorry,
Aileen's aye.
Yeah, so I went up and done a couple of lessons with him. He says they must have been lucky decks, Gleave. I says, aye, they were. Aye.
But so you've taught it. Like, you look at the Belfast DJs coming through. Like, didn't Radmix? Didn't you?
Symmetrics.
Symmetrics, sorry.
Aye, they done my DJ course and music production course at Boys Model.
Aye.
Yeah.
So you're getting all the wee SoundCloud DJs and all that there through now, and you're getting a lot of people through.
So
Well, they're getting taught by you.
get them all to sign a contract with me, fair like.
Hey, no, that's more like it. What about refresher lessons?
I can do a couple of those.
Must you charge for mid rates?
You wouldn't believe it, but there's more people coming to me for vinyl one-to-ones than you wouldn't believe
Aye.
that. Because even people, the young guys that have been away to Amsterdam and went to Deck Mental and come back and went, look, I really want to learn how to play
Play
vinyl.
vinyl,
I know how to use these digital controllers, but I really want to learn how to play vinyl. So that is actually bubbling in through, and that's probably where your underground thing's coming from, because there's probably people now looking at digital DJs and going, oh, sure, Annie, but I can do that.
exactly.
You know,
It's 10 a penny, isn't it?
I could teach a 10-year-old how to put a set together, but I couldn't teach a 10-year-old
How
how
to
to
play
play
vinyl.
vinyl. Like, that's a different beast altogether. So that's kind of bubbling on that Ulster Sports Club underground.
Yes,
like
yes,
Connor
yes.
Smutson was doing
Yes.
the vinyl nights.
Yes.
He was playing with Ian McCready there last weekend, you know.
that
So that's kind of
Building
that
back in again,
underground thing.
aye.
I think that underground crowd respects that more
Aye.
in a roundabout way, you know. So
But like even even when like after the rave days, it was came into the sort of before when the super clubs were going on, there was the underground clubs too, like you know all the wee smaller clubs too, and the atmosphere used to be brilliant in them too, like you know what I mean.
just scratch it back up.
But no, there's a few. Do you notice that in Belfast now? A few smaller venues popping up, and
Yeah.
obviously there's not that many big venues left. Really, there's like Telegraph Building,
Yeah.
Limelight, Thompson's.
I know.
There might be a few other, but there's
I'm
not
lucky
really.
I'm still in there after all these years. I don't know how, like, but
Skills, kids,
Skills.
skills.
You done won the
Still there.
DMC at 14 for fuck all. You know what I
Well,
mean?
you see my jacket from the DMC? Our Mark got it framed for me. He says, because that's never fit you again.
You never wear it again.
I'm like Jethro Clampa. I put it on as up here. Look.
Oh, geez. So you're all looking forward to the reunion anyway, and
Aye.
Really looking forward to it.
Always look forward to it. Like,
The Dairy Crow's always a great night as well. Isn't it?
Always.
Dairy Crow, no matter what venue or what you're doing, there's always a great atmosphere.
yeah.
The Dairy Gears.
the
Yeah,
day
yeah.
here. And then we have the
look
return
forward
of Joanne too. She's coming back to do
That's
the
good to see.
Good to see.
thing too. So we're looking forward to that too. And tickets are going well, Paul.
Well,
The online
at the
tickets are
minute,
sold out.
All sold out, and there's still tickets left in Cool Discs. You can get them. We're trying to just expand capacity a wee bit, maybe throw a few more online, maybe in the last few days, hopefully.
Because there was a part of it that
Extra
we
50 or so.
we didn't have, but we're getting it now,
We'll
so we'll
get
be able
back in
to
because
let
I
out
think it was
more
a private
tickets.
party in it, and that's cancelled.
So
it could be
we've got
more.
the whole run of the place
Yeah,
that night. Like.
hopefully.
So the tickets on schedule are sold out at the minute. There is a waiting list. If you are interested in tickets, go on the waiting list and schedule, and we'll try and if you can't get onto Cool Discs, we'll make sure that you can get.
If you want to be sure getting a ticket, get yourself down to Cool Discs. No.
No,
Like
that's right.
Neil sorting you out.
because this week, like, there's been a lot of people. There's like something like 40 people in the waiting list too, looking for tickets and stuff like that there. And there's
It'll go
people.
alright, it'll sell
It'll go well. So
It'll
well,
sell out.
I was in last night, so it was sold out within. I think our last podcast, it was sold out that night that we done the last podcast. So we're a wee bit
We get closer.
closer now.
Yeah.
So we are.
Cool.
But come here, guys. Thanks for coming on the podcast. This is the last one of this season.
For this season.
For
The season finale.
Season finale.
Charlie's
Our closing party.
He's going to work for RT.
I'm retiring, but
No, looking forward to seeing you. We'll
Yes,
have a great night.
100%.
See you all.
Party.
It'll be a cracker.
Good lads.
All right.
Okay.
thanks.
Thank you.